Okay, boys, it's time for DM's patented, brutally honest review of an ARPG. We're going to talk about Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt. Spoiler warning. I have negative things to say. I also have some positive things to say. So if you don't want to hear any negativity at all, because you watch like 15 of these videos from people as well, like, hey, boys, I'm sorry, this is a feedback video. This patch is a bit of a patch of all time. So I got things to say. With that being said, I do have some positives. So I'm going to go through the positives first in order to get you what I like about the patch before we get into some what is going on type of moments here. So as it stands, I'm currently rank 18 hardcore SSF. I've died 0 times this entire league. I peaked at 11 last night, which I'm pretty proud about, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to try to do top 10 right now. You're going to notice that I am playing a warrior, and it's pretty funny at the moment because at the launch of the game, people that are playing warrior were kind of miserable. And then warrior kind of stayed the same, but everyone else got brought down to arguably below the warrior level. And now the people who are not playing warrior are feeling kind of miserable. And the people playing warrior are actually like doing all right. Like the warrior is populating the leaderboard at the moment. And mostly Smith and Katav is extremely defensive. And we're going to talk about hardcore being wild and all that here in just a moment. But like, it's kind of flip-flopped. Like the warriors are the ones kind of eating good at the moment because we actually basically didn't get gutted, but like a lot of the other classes did. And some of the adjustments don't affect the warrior quite as much as some of the other classes. So that's just kind of a funny meme right out the bat. But the first thing, I'm just going to go through my notes here. Some of the positives, Rogue Exiles, they have this Rogue Exile system in the game is actually super cool. Like they're voice acted, they jump on you, they got items like a player, they're using abilities like a player. I find myself like kind of laughing or smiling when the Rogue Exile shows up and he's shit talking me. He's like, too easy. Like, you gotta be quicker than that type of stuff. And, I think that's actually like, it's really nice to have those moments because it breaks up what, in my opinion, otherwise has been like a paranoid WoW raid slog of going through mobs. But that's going to be more of the negative side of it. The other thing I like, there is a gambling mechanic, a unique strongbox they added to the game, which you click it and you put in some gold and it just spits out like a random actually good currency drop or skill gems or tablets, or it shits out good stuff and it gets 10x more expensive every time you click it. It's just a really fun mechanic. I like that they have added some what I would consider non-serious fun things into the game because honestly, the game is in desperate need of that right now. I say with the game is borderline taking itself too serious right now. It's kind of a way that I would describe this, okay, as we start to get into some of the negatives, okay. Also, there's some more additions like Doriani. When you actually get to maps, Doriani, it does a better job of explaining like what to do. It gives you like a little cutscene thing, which is like, go here and like clear the corruption. And the corruption is super cool. You go clear the corruption and then you have these like cleansed areas on the map here. And I'm only in like tier 10 maps. I haven't, killed Arbiter and all the pinnacles here, but I'm trying, okay. And I'm feeling pretty good about the progress so far. But the cleanse is pretty cool. The fracturing orbs are pretty good. The recombinator is a great addition because you can pick up loot and put them together. But this part is super confusing to me because the chances of the recombinator is hilarious. I saw a clip of Karn. He put in 2 items because he had a tier 1, but with the highest tier of the physical percentage on one and the highest tier of flat physical on the other. And the only mods he clicked was one of each. So only one mod from each of the items to try to make a new item. You know what the percentage chance of that is just for one mod each? 0.9%. So we're approaching Gacha game legendary poll level of RNG, which in my opinion is wildly unacceptable. I understand they're like higher tier things. You can't just like immediately craft like the best item, but considering the result of that is it destroys the item, I think 0.9% is wild in my own personal opinion. So the Recombinator, while I think it's actually a smart addition to the game, and this is a positive, is also a negative because the numbers are crazy. I had low tier gear with not even maxed out affixes. I just tried to put 2 things together just because I need fire res and it was like 25% of the item just blew up. So I was feeling like I was playing Lost Ark and just like swiping my card, like, hitting the honing button. So the Recombinator could probably use maybe a bit of a buff, or else I just don't see people like getting into in-game as a newer player, like, let me put these items in, and then like seeing like 20% and being like, okay, and hitting the button and their items getting destroyed. I can't see that like being a fun interacting experience for players. And that's before we even talk about you have to farm the currency to even be able to use the damn thing. So that, That right there is both a positive and a negative. Let's see what else I got in here. Oh, yeah, runes. So this was probably the other best addition. So runes have had an additional tier added to it. That is super nice because runes also have had their drop rate doubled and lesser runes now drop. So you get significantly more runes through the campaign, which means you don't feel as punished for using the runes. And now I'm getting gate kept more by these artificial orbs. I feel like I could probably use more of these because as a player that knows what they're doing, every single level in the campaign, I'm going back and spending all of my gold only on sockets in order to salvage that, picking up every socket I see in order to be able to add sockets on the gear. And I feel like that could probably, maybe the artificial shard amount that we get is like doubled or something. I feel like we could probably have some more orbs in my own opinion, because this is basically the equivalent of like the crafting bench that we have in PoE 2. And I think we have runes now, but I would like to see players be able to engage with just like actually getting these orbs more, particularly for newer players. And I know more experienced players, when they see this, you're going to be like, wow, you just got to get good and learn the mechanics. Yes, you're right. But this game is designed in a way to bring in newer players into the game while at the same time designing in a way to exceptionally punish those players. So I find a mismatching of some of the design philosophies within this game in its current state. So that's just kind of how I feel about that. As well. Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, yes, we need a stash tab for these as well, but that is something that they said they are working on. So let's get into some of the negatives now that I've said some of my positives. So right off the bat, mob HP was wild at the launch of the game. In fact, there are white mobs with the minion tag. This has since been nerfed that were a part of like a rare pack that has minions, and those literally had like 400% bonus HP. So I remember Hammer of Gods on the white mob, and it did like 30% of his health. This is in campaign, and I went into all that for the game because it's like, I know my weapon's not as good, and I should probably have better gear, but I legitimately know what I'm doing. Like, I've played Warrior a lot already. It's my literal best mechanic. It has 3 sockets of all bonus damage, and I hit for like 30%. So I was just like, why? Was like my initial impression. They have since realized this was a mistake, and they nerfed this. So if you actually have experienced white mobs being, you know, crazy HP, that has been gutted a bit. Also, all mobs in general just felt like they had too much HP. I felt like I was weaker basically than everything on the map. It felt like a WoW raid where I'm like walking forward and I see a pack of mobs, and it's like if I had polymorph, I would literally be polymorphing one, 100 trapping another, and like pulling the third mob and just doing it one at a time, because it felt exceptionally slow. And it's like, maybe it's because I'm hardcore and I'm trying not to die, and if you're softcore, you're just gonna like, you know, buy gear on trade and just like run straight in there and kill this. But like, I also think that players who are, you know, starting the game out are just going to be running in and basically getting ass blasted by a lot of these mobs sort of right in the beginning. They obviously acknowledge this as well, because they nerfed mobs by like 25% HP or so going into in-game. And we'll talk about in-game in a moment, because in-game actually feels a little bit better. We're going to talk about that too. Okay, another negative, the wisp mechanic, the thing that like you're going through the campaign and it goes through the mobs, it feels unrewarding, and literally I'm completely avoiding it. So at this point, I've never seen a talisman drop. I've done it, you know, a handful of times now. And I don't think I got anything that actually mattered. And I got to a point fairly early on where I decided, I don't like this mechanic. This feels like a waste of time. Also feels like it's scarier to actually do this mechanic than is worth its time, and I'm going to ignore it. So what would happen is sometimes I run into a wisp and it's like, I don't want to die, or this is a waste of time. I'll literally walk backwards and time out the thing, then go forward. So I'm backpedaling just to avoid a mechanic that otherwise is supposed to feel rewarding. So in my opinion, the wisp mechanic is just a miss, full-on miss. Let's see here. Oh, another positive I didn't mention. Strongbox has actually got buffed to the point where the mob density feels significantly better. So there's a big pack of mob density now in strong boxes. So you're getting like, when you see a strong box, you might actually start interacting with them because they feel a lot better. But on the topic of mob density, it's weird because in this game, mob density, or in RPGs in general, when you see a big group of mobs, normally what's your feeling? That's right. Your feeling is, oh, great, a big pack of mobs. I'm about to get a ton of experience. I'm about to get some loot. Like normally big groups of mobs feel good. But in this game, when you see a big group of mobs, you're actually completely terrified because you want to run the other way. Like if you're playing hardcore, also you're doubly as worried because a big pack of mobs can just shit on you because they're so fast that when you're running away in order to do like your animation, unless you're like a ranger or something that's a move that you can backpedal and use your animation. Me, I'd see a big pack of mobs, they're swarming me. I'd have to run away, jump away, do all this stuff just so I can turn around to do my fastest animation in the game of Bone Shatter. So I felt like there was a lot of backpedaling from otherwise situations where I'd see this big pack of mobs. And if you're really, really good at the game and you have good gear, you can just jump into the pack of mobs and then one-shot the mobs. And that's what it's like now in-game for me. I just jump into the middle of mobs, bone shatter, and one-shot everything. But until you get to that point, mob density it almost feels like a scared bummer when you see a whole bunch of mobs currently in the game, as opposed to, normally these are situations in which you feel rather good. Let's see what else is on my list here. Map sustain immediately feels better. That's actually true. Maps in the in-game, they made a way better way of actually getting the tier ups by killing the boss, and also by completing all the rare mobs, you're always getting one of the same tier. Basically means if you're not dropping maps, you are always sustaining maps. So that was actually another positive as well. And now when you kill the last rare mob, it drops a checkpoint, so you can take the checkpoint and teleport somewhere else on the map that you choose to. So if you find where the boss is, you can go complete all the rare mobs, immediately take that checkpoint to the boss, and that's just a way better addition to the game. Okay, so here's another negative. So AI seems worse. They said that they did changes to AI, and I find mobs are getting stuck indoors way more, and some of the bosses have highly annoying AI where they just start spamming. I know they're supposed to do their proper rotation, but I don't know if they buffed the Bog Witch's skill speed or something, and maybe it's a skill issue, but playing the Bog Witch was actually rage inducing because she was on her stupid motorcycle. And if you're a warrior and you're playing, I was playing Sunder at the time because I was testing all these moves, see how they feel. I was trying Sunder, and literally I would have to cast up so that I would try to hit her while she's going in her circle, and then she would hop off the thing, and then I'm trying to perfect strike. So I go to perfect strike, I can hit her once, maybe twice, and if I get lucky twice, otherwise she's back on her thing, she's doing it again. So something about the AI just honestly just feels like worse. Worse for me, and that part was pretty annoying in the Bog Witch. And honestly, the annoyance levels seem a little bit higher than before. Like Act 3, the map size thing. I see people talk about this all the time about map size, and I think that really boils down to the Act 3 maps in particular are pretty annoying because they both have annoying mobs and annoying the size of the maps. And there's just too many annoying things in general. Sea hags are annoying. On-death explosions are common and annoying. There's just too many annoying factors, I think, about mobs in general and kind of the sizing of the map. So I think what happens is you have a brutal punishing league in which you're kind of getting shit on more than you ever had. Some of your builds got nerfed, or some of the abilities are feeling worse and nerfed. You have the annoying white mob minions or exceptionally tanky type of situation, and then you're just running into all of these factors at the same time. And at some point, people are just feeling pissed off because they ask themselves, I'm playing a video game, when does the fun begin? And instead of you're having this moment of there's a difficult, annoying moment, and you overcome it, and you feel a sense of oh my God, I did it. That oh my God, I did it is shortcut because immediately you're hit with another one of these moments. Pretty much almost most interactions throughout the game, going through the campaign until you get to in-game, and the in-game feels a lot better in my opinion currently. But a lot of these interactions can have these annoying what is going on type of moments. So that's kind of where I'm feeling about it at the moment. If you're wondering how I'm feeling now, I'm having a lot more fun going into the in-game because now I'm actually killing shit, and mapping is feeling smoother. There's more additions into it. The Rogue Exiles are cool. The new unique lockboxes are cool. I like that there's additions on Atlas Tree. I actually feel like the end game particularly is in a better state than the beginning of the game, basically. But the beginning of the game is basically in its launch state. I don't think it's worse than launch. I think it's pretty much in its launch state. And players that didn't like it on launch aren't going to like it now. So you're going to have a lot of people that come back because they're I didn't like it at the launch of the game, and come back and try it again. And they're still going to be this is still the same thing. And so they're still not going to like it. And then players that didn't like it on launch but liked it after they made the patch changes and all of that going into the game, they're probably thinking, oh, okay, well, they're going to continue to go that direction and kind of revert it a little bit. And now they're not going to like it because it feels harder than a patch that they think already solved some of the issues that were re-implemented into the game. So that's my breakdown of currently how I'm feeling about it. I didn't talk about too much about the in-game, but honestly, the in-game either feels samey or better because the new corrupted areas are pretty cool. Like I'm saying, sort of the hand-holding thing they do in the beginning of showing you where the bosses are and all that feel better. The fact that you can actually get splinters and tablets now feels significantly better. The design of the towers are significantly better. Like the in-game in particular has been, in my opinion, pretty massively improved. Actually, the in-game is quite enjoyable currently, but the getting there is probably as brutal as it has ever been, and is a little bit confusing for a lot of the players. And I'm viewing this from a Warriors perspective. So like I'm arguably playing the class that can get through it the most. So when I was, starting out, I was like, oh, this just kind of feels the same. And then everyone else is like absolutely mauling out about how they're playing. So I think I'm starting to realize it's like you guys are getting the Warrior launch experience on all of the classes you're playing, and arguably worse because I'm hearing like the Huntress on Startup. I got to play through the Huntress, but I'm hearing the Huntress on Startup is currently just not enjoyable at all to play right in the beginning. But I'm also hearing contradicting points. Some people are like, oh, I'm able to blast through it, but it's I've got to figure that one out for myself. So I'm probably going to start a Ritualist next to actually see how I'm feeling about Spears and sort of the Huntress build in general. But these are just kind of my raw thoughts. People are asking for my thoughts and review on the matter, and currently, if you didn't like it on launch, I don't think I recommend replaying through it again, unless you're somebody who can blast through the campaign and then get to in-game, where the in-game is, in my opinion, significantly improved. And I think people playing Warrior are going to have a better experience than people not playing Warrior. And I think people that can get to in-game, have a lot of hours to play, and in-game are probably having a good experience right now, because I am. Like now that I'm in-game, I started to, for the first time, like hit that flow state and started to feel like pretty good and lock in playing the Warrior and jump from pack to pack and killing shit and climbing the leaderboard and feeling good. Like now I'm feeling good, but like there was a period of time where I'd be like, I'm feeling good, and I hit like an absolutely miserable experience, and I'm feeling good, and I had another miserable experience. And so I can't imagine doing that on the class that people are saying is like even more brutal at the moment. So I think that's just kind of where I fall in on this conversation. So I don't know how many of these, annoyance issues they're going to be touching. They've already touched a few of them, like the life, for instance. I'm not really sure what the design is at the moment or where they're going to go with the game, to be quite honest with you. I can tell you one thing. I do not believe that this game is going to go in the direction of Path of Exile 1. If you're someone who is looking to play basically Path of Exile 1 reskinned, I think they're trying to do something different, and I think that has been re-solidified with this patch in particular. So it feels like a very different ARPG than almost any ARPG at the moment, and I think it's going to take a while before I fully understand exactly what kind of ARPG they're attempting to make. So that's just kind of my thoughts at the moment. Not trying to be too critical, just people have been asking.